Okay, welcome back to Daily Driven Alpha. Bit of an update since our last post. You can see the panel that we hand formed and we were fitting in the last video has now been welded in, butt welded, and we've cleaned up all the welding. That's come up quite nicely. We're pretty happy with that. Spent this morning just cleaning up all the welds with a grinding disc and also a flap disc just to finish it off really nicely, clean up some of the steel, done some of the inside as well, put a notch in just for some of the trial fitting of, as you can see, with some of the grill sections. And what we're looking to do at the moment is get the grill sections in, put the heart in, make sure that we're happy with the height between the step nose and the top of the valance, so that if you like, we are satisfied that the car is relatively square in this front section. Now we're using these sections from the grill out of the GT Junior that you would have seen in some of our other posts. That's the wreck that we're going to restore. Now these sections are pretty tatty, they're twisted and they're a bit rusty, but the dimensions are still the same as the GT Sprint Veloci grill section. The only difference being that on the Junior you've only got one chrome bar and on the Veloci you've got three. So we're using those just to check whether we've got that square, and setting them in like such, and then taking the heart, the old heart that we've got, and popping that in, have a look and see whether or not we're happy with that alignment. So, it's not too bad. So, still got a bit of work to do on this nose here. The fit up here around the heart isn't too bad, but that'll take just a little bit more filler and a bit more sanding just to get that top deck looking the way we want to. We're pretty happy with the shape of the panel itself, as you can see, and the fit with the heart. It's not perfect, but then again, I'm looking at some of the other cars in my daily driver. It's not absolutely snug. Some of the originals may have been a lot closer when they came out of the factory, but given that this car's had some front end damage, we're going to get it as close as we can, and we'll be happy with that, because we don't want this heart and the vibration of the vehicle rubbing through the paint, so we'll be happy with that. The next thing that we're going to do today is, and I don't know if you can see, but we've got the bumper here, so what we'll do is we'll need to get that on, and just to check to make sure that this alignment here is central, so that we've got the bumper sitting nice and square as well. Now we can already see that the piece that we've welded in has got a really nice gap there. That's sitting well, so pretty happy with that actually. So we'll put that on a little bit later, but the piece for us today is this. This little heart section, or the holes that sit behind the heart, is what we've got to get in. And I guess what we'll do is get this heart on here, and we'll score through behind it, mark up so that we've got it right. Now, one of the things we have to be careful of is that we have got to be dead certain that the heart is in the right position and that we're happy with it. Because once we cut this, that's it. And we've got the old one here that we can use as a bit of a guide for the actual shape itself. So we won't put that on as a template and try and cut it because it's too difficult. Now, one of the tricky things with this is you can see that on this top ridge here, it doesn't start down here. You actually have to split the curve and on these original ones, they had a folded section at the back here. You can see with a lot of these as they were punched out with the tooling from the factory. Now when we cut it, it's just going to have a straight edge. We haven't got the ability to flare or fold that. I guess if we really wanted to, we could, but my concern is there's such a small piece of metal, and you start playing around with this, then you start putting folds and bends and moving the steel around, and we don't want to do that. So the key thing for us is to make sure that we get this shape as correct as possible with that notch. So even drawing it out through the heart, this shape won't be correct. So we're going to have to draw it and then check it and make it to the correct shape. So that's going to be our mission today, to get that done. So really it's just a bit of an update on this panel here. I'll bring it in a little bit closer so you can have a bit more of a look and get a sense of how it's fitted. Okay, so as you can see, the panel's sitting in quite nicely. We're quite happy with the way it's sitting on the car. The top section, you can see, still needs a little bit of work in these areas here. We're a little rough in this area, but we'll tidy that up. You'll see here, we've put 3 splits in the panel itself to allow it to move, because this radius, as we put it in a press and we pushed this section out, the metal folded in, and then we had to weld that up, and we'll tidy that up as we go. So overall, not too bad. What does it look like from the inside? Let's have a look. You might be able to see that. So we've cleaned that up. Still got a bit to do in there, but and you can see there we've got a couple of holes that have come through as we've gone with the grinder to clean up the weld. So we'll need to touch those up, and but overall pretty happy with that. So that gives you a bit of a better angle of how the top of the panel is sitting. So really quite happy with our little project there so far. So like I said, our mission is now to get this heart section here, and what we've got to do is we've got to make sure that we get it central. As I said before, the old saying is measure twice, cut once. I think on this one here we'll be measuring multiple times before we go anywhere near it and start cutting it. So one of the things that we will be using is a small air cutting tool that we've got. So just a cut-off tool like that. That'll be a lot easier to use in the steel here than trying to get a grinder in there. So you know, if you're trying to do some of this work and you haven't got the tools, they're not very expensive. Before you start, go and get some of the tools. Speak to your friends and other car enthusiasts, and often they'll help you out if you're only using them for a short period of time. But from my perspective, get out there and buy them if they're not very expensive. Okay, that's it for today, and what we'll do is we'll come back once we've got that in, and we've got some of the other fitment of the grille sections and the bumper on, and we'll give you a look at what the car looks like. So look, once again, thanks for watching, and share these videos with other enthusiasts who might be interested. Like, subscribe, and please post any of your comments. Love to hear how your projects are going. Keep it respectful, and look forward to putting up another post for you to watch. Thanks a lot. Cheers.